Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, March 19th, 8 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. The eruption in Iceland continues with vigor amongst a small section of a fissure eruption with multiple calderas now building, small cinder cones at the site of the eruption. The lava is vigorous and continues to pump out on the surface as we monitor the situation. Where are we here? Harsh Mongolian winter leaves 4.7 million animals dead, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But before we do that, happy spring equinox. It occurs in just an hour and a few minutes, 11:06 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:06 p.m. Mountain. Keep calm. It's boom time. Freezing weather warning for 10 states as cold front hits the deep south. Freeze warnings are in place for parts of 10 states as a high-pressure system bringing lake-effect snow to the Great Lakes region and New England is set to push sub-zero temperatures well into the deep south, and millions are now under freeze warnings as cold air rushes into the U.S. from Canada. You can see Little Rock, Jackson, Birmingham, Huntsville, Montgomery, Atlanta, Anderson, and even Charlotte all in the freeze warning. So heed the warnings, the full forecast in just a moment. Texas at risk of hail, tornadoes as threat of severe weather returns. Spring is the time of the year when Texas, the nexus of the Schmexis, sees the most severe weather, and it might be coming. Storms could also produce 1-inch hail late Wednesday in western Oklahoma. Holy macaroni, here's the forecast. Periods of snow across the Great Lakes and Northeast, elevated fire weather conditions in the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic. A cold front followed by a clipper storm will bring periods of snow to the Great Lakes and the Northeast U.S. through the midweek. Lake-enhanced snow downwind of some of the Great Lakes will bring higher accumulations in those specific areas. Strong gusty winds and dry air may produce elevated fire weather conditions across the Ohio Valley today and the Mid-Atlantic on Wednesday. Take a look at the map. These light tan regions, all elevated fire risk and a major fire risk here across the entire state of Virginia. So heed the warnings and don't flick those cigarettes out the window. Hard freeze warnings out for Alabama and parts of Georgia. So bring those sensitive plants in as conditions may worsen. When we take a look at the snow totals through April, it could be insane. In the membrane, let's walk them through. Here is Wednesday through Thursday morning. Look at the snow developing in the Northeast. It's going to happen all the way through Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday to Friday morning, the Northeast is going to be picking up some snow. There is a system moving down out of Canada into Montana Wednesday, Thursday here, Friday into Saturday. We'll swipe the northern states, bringing some significant totals to Minnesota and Wisconsin as well as Michigan. And the Great Lakes region as well as the Northeast. Now watch this. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's a fun day. The weekend is going to bring heavy snow to the West Coast, west of the Colorado Rockies there, or the Rocky Mountains itself. And watch this. Doubling up here in the northern tier states. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Holy macaroni. Could be 3 feet or more for southern Minnesota. Say it ain't soda, but that's what the models are showing, and it's showing it might get even worse through the first week of April. Shut up, Al! Get in your hole! Al Gore is not happy about the forecast, but we are. And the reasons, one of the main reasons is Montana has one of the biggest deficits as far as snow. And look at the snow coming to Montana, North and South Dakota. They are in a big deficit, just about 50 to 60% of normal. And this will be a healthy recovery, maybe even bringing them back to 100%. Good news there. Bad news in Mongolia. Harsh Mongolian winter leaves 4.7 million animals dead. Red Cross issues an appeal. The UN says Mongolian herders are experiencing an extreme dzud. This is the third time we've reported on it, and it continues to get worse. Cold conditions more often with little time to recover before the next one has caused massive casualties on animals. 4.7 million is no joke. Seismic update, no quakes of note. Look at this most recent rumbler, Stanley, Idaho, normal activity. We do have this rumbler out here, a 5.1 in Pakistan, up at the surface. That could have caused some damage, and hopefully no one influenced by that quake. Overall, very low activity worldwide. As we take a look at Iceland, as the fourth eruption this year looks quite vigorous and is now constrained to a narrow area of a fissure just a few hundred meters long. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll say 9 ejective points there. And they are building cinder cones like some of the earlier eruptions that were longer lasting. This one now lasting for days has no sign of ending, albeit it has been reduced over the last several days, but still very vigorous and active. Go check out the Reykjanes Multiview live from Iceland. Give them a thumbs up. Tell them Diamond sent you. Worldwide volcano news update. We've got Marapi volcano. Volcanic eruptions continue to go on today. Fuego to 15,000. Swanos Hima to 5,000 feet. Popo to 20,000. Sangay. Possible puffs and passes. Santa Rita to 14,000. Raventador could be puffing as well today. Sabancaya. Fuego to 15,000. Take a look here. Reykjanes volcano. Like we said, activity continues at stable levels, characterized by formation of a line of spatter cones. So a spatter cone is a tiny cinder cone that wanted to be. Swanosima puffing to 5,000. Popo to 20,000. Merapi to 14. And activity at the site continues at stable levels. Didn't we just say that? I sound like a broken record. Space weather news update. After that impulsive M flare yesterday, we've had some impulsive flaring today, mostly in the C range, 2 small M flares, nothing of significance. But the 3-day geomagnetic forecast is now showing March 20th and 21st could be continuous geomagnetic storm at the level of instability to G1. So heed the warnings. We've gotten up to KP3 earlier in the morning today, now dropping down into the KP 1.7 range. But we do have some active regions that are pointing Earth. Let's take a look at the latest HMI intensity real quick to get up to speed here. And there's that major sunspot that turned around the limb with the huge plage. Here is that active region that is now going to be facing us. So the next 3 to 4 days, we could see some activity that could be quite spicy as the tiny pinpricks over here turn away from the disk. We do have also other concerns about a coronal hole forcing some earthquakes starting in the next 24 hours and lasting for the next 2 or 3 days. Coronal hole 12, while not that large, could be a significant player in seismicity coming soon. So heed the warnings as we keep a close eye on telemetry here. This is Discover Solar Wind. We can see, as of yesterday, a major drop down in the plasma wind speed down to 300, a rapid jump up here into the upper 300s, and then just about 6 hours ago, another jump up to 400. And so we're in a good position here if we have another flux to get up into geomagnetic storm up in the 550, 600 range. So we're keeping a close eye on all the activity here. Let's refresh that. Yes, all is quiet on the Western Front. Now, if you've heard about the newest fad, intermittent fasting, it might not be so good. A new paper coming out shows that intermittent fasting, or 8-hour time-restricted eating, however you want to call it, is linked to a 91% higher risk of cardiovascular death. You can believe these stats or not. I thought I needed to bring this to your attention. Now, another interesting fact is that there is a common ancient cultural phenomenon between the Americas and other regions of the world, as evidenced by petroglyphs and artifacts and few papers on it. By here, one by Guido, being published in academia.edu, is a spectacular expose on Squatterman and other petroglyphs worldwide that, well, most people don't seem to acknowledge, yet it shows up even in alphabets from ancient countries. So what's going on here? Especially the phallus. There's a whole section on penises if you're interested in that. So go get it. We're going to link this paper below. We're going to try to get her on the show because I believe she is a female and her work is exceptional. If you haven't heard, boycott Tyson Foods. They are laying off American workers, and they are promising to hire illegal aliens that are flowing across the border. And if you don't know what's going on, we're going to break it down for you right now.
The Democrat open borders plan to entrench single-party rule, explained in under 2 minutes. 1. Flood the country with untold millions of illegals by land, sea, and air from all over the world, enough to eclipse the populations of 36 individual U.S. states so far. 2. Prioritize the needs of these millions of non-citizens over the needs of the American citizen, with free flights, buses, hotels, meals, and phones, ensuring their loyalty to the political party that imported them. 3. Keep them in the country at all costs, even when they commit violent crime like murder and rape. Attack the language used to describe the criminals, as opposed to the criminals themselves. Slander critics as racist. 4. Ensure their privileges are made irrevocable with city and state sanctuary laws that act as population magnets. Codify permanent status and ensure non-cooperation with ICE. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives. As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts, a tremendous amount of electoral power. 6. Wage a massive, heavily funded lawfare campaign to change state voting laws that legalize mass mail-in ballots, no signature verification, and no proof of citizenship requirements, making it nearly impossible to prove voter fraud. 7. Lock in the permanent voting majority with campaign promises of lavish benefits and permanent privileges, enshrining generational fealty to the Democrat Party. 8. Win elections. 9. Entrenched single-party rule has been achieved.
And now the best part, your tax dollars are paying for all of it. And the report here was 10 million illegals entering the U.S. The current number is at 20 million. Holy macaroni, what is going on? If you want to stay updated, join us on X at Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned. We need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe. And we will see you at the San Luis Valley Seed Exchange next weekend.